You've waited a lifetime to look better and feel better, and now here's your chance. Fitness Friday on WNDB. Call 239-0033 and have your questions answered on health, fitness, and a better life. Fitness Friday is brought to you by Bodez by Tasso & Company, 1140 West Granada Boulevard in Ormond Beach. And now, here's your host, Tasso Kyriakis.
Welcome to Fitness Friday, and we're in the midst of the Ice Bucket Challenge.
I was going to say, Tasso, you're all wet.
Hey, Dave, you know, now, listen, you're trying to get out on a technicality.
No.
You whined that no one challenged you for the Ice Bucket.
I don't want to be challenged.
That no one, you went, no one challenged you for the Ice Bucket Challenge. And I refer you back to my Ice Bucket Challenge thing that calls out and says, if you're a member of Bodez, or if you have ever worked out with me, I challenge you to take this challenge. Now, Dave, that qualifies you for take the challenge.
No, that is too broad of a challenge.
Now we can hold the presses. I'm going to tell you how great a the Bodez membership is. Number one, we've raised thus far. I've sent in about $1,000 for the ALS Foundation, but we've raised right now preparing at the club. There's like 10 or 12 of our members. They're going to do a group Ice Bucket Challenge.
Cool. Because
they're so invigorated by the staff having done it. And if you want to see it, some of the people that are sort of in our bloodline of this is, you saw Billy Gahagan's, which I thought was very creative with Debbie. Him and Debbie did it together. EJ Qualley posted his for us. He did it. He's one of the leading linebackers up in the Canadian Football League that we have the pleasure of training, a graduate of Mainland High School. Right. So this is really taken off. It's been sort of cool for us. I saw it and I said, well, maybe I did.
When did you do it? When did you do it?
We did it Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, we did it on Monday. And we've had a lot of our members do it, and a lot of people are coming along doing it. So it's a lot of fun.
And 4, 3, 2,
1.
Okay. Hey, this is Tasso from Bodez Personalized Fitness in Ormond Beach, Florida. And I'm doing the Ice Bucket Challenge in memory of my brother Steve, and for ALS awareness for my friend Augie Nieto, who made me a big deal in the fitness industry for Life Fitness. And I'm going to be calling out people, all my members. If you've ever worked out with me, Jim and Jim, my workout partner. If you've ever worked out with me in Daytona, you need to do this challenge. Nationally, I'm calling out my favorite father and son stars, Bill and Chase Elliott. I'm expecting a big video of you guys doing this. Internationally in Canada, I want my cousin Adam Papadakis to do it. I want Winnipeg Blue Bombers middle linebacker EJ Qualley. I want Jasper Simmons from the Ottawa Red and Black. And I want Nick Williams from the Toronto Argonauts.
All right, here he goes. I wish we had video of it.
Oh, that's cold.
Oh, that's cold.
You can see that video at Facebook. My whole staff did it. My trainers and Catalina, they all did it. It was great fun. And
Bodez Fitness Facebook.
Bodez Fitness Facebook. So you can go to that and enjoy it. And there's a lot of other ones. And like I said, Billy Gahagan, who we'll tag later today to put on our site. Okay. His was very creative with his wife that they did. So we're going to get a phone call here in a minute from two of our friends. George Karamidas is going to call in, and Renee Gahagan's hopefully going to be able to make it to call in to talk about what's going on over at St. Demetrius for the people who love the Greek festival and maybe don't always love the big crowds of the Greek festival. But I want to talk a little bit, Dave, and sort of begin to open up a theme. Every quarter or every year, I like to bring a new theme into the fitness to sort of, and I think this theme really allows me to differentiate what goes on at Bodez Fitness from what goes on to any other fitness center. And again, my theme has always been that if you know what you're doing when you're fitness training and you have your program, whether you got it offline or whatever. You can go to a place like Planet Fitness. You can go to a place like 945. Okay.
Okay.
All right. You can go to a place like Planet Fitness. You can go to any other place that you want, Gold's Gym, YMCA, and you can go there and train, and you can get a great workout. The people who need motivation, who want support, who want service, that makes up the Bodez difference. But there then comes into the equation the use of science. So I've sort of got this concept that I'm trying to expand on, and we heard about the big triangle that I talked about, the balance of the brain, the gut, and the immune system for us to have total health. And what we've talked about on this show for the last year really has been actually maybe almost 2 years now, has been to talk about the balance of the body and the ability as a personal trainer to feel comfortable saying to you, if you have a disease, if you have metabolic syndrome, if you have diabetes, if you have high blood pressure, we can reverse that. And you know, we've come up with this sort of this three-pronged thing that we identified. Number one, inflammation is the cause of all these degenerative diseases. You know, we support that with lots of research now, but it probably started with an article back in 2001 on Time magazine. The second thing we say is that stress is the mother of all inflammation, because there is a huge stress response that comes in this society every day when we go to work, when we get up and raise kids, or whatever we do in our relationships, it raises stress. And the third prong is that we say that through the plan that we have and what we do at Bodez Personalized Fitness, and for that matter almost at any fitness center, we can reverse those effects of stress on your body, which in turn down-regulate your inflammation, which in turn begin to allow you to get a hold and improve your health. So that being said, I want to start to introduce you to some triangles. The first triangle I introduce you to is what we call a synergy triangle. And almost any personal trainer, any fitness center that gets any education to you will talk about this triangle. And it is a triangle that we call the synergy triangle. It is good nutrition, eating the right foods, eating in a proper schedule of eating those foods, attention to building lean body tissue, muscle for the body, and then thirdly, the value of good cardiovascular aerobic fitness, but moderate aerobic fitness. If you go to some places, you can tell you it's 20 or 30 minutes on a treadmill. If you come to Bodez, we're going to talk about our burst training, and we're going to talk about the tool we have called SciFit. You know, I did an introductory interview yesterday to people who were interested in working at Bodez Personalized Fitness, and I told them, I said, you can you know, we have to differentiate ourselves by what we do and what we communicate to people in this science that we bring to the forefront here, because you can go to any fitness center, and with the exception of our Medix equipment and our SciFit equipment, we will look almost the same as them. Okay, hopefully what we strive for is to be cleaner, to be friendlier, that kind of thing. But they can go out and buy the same treadmills. Most people.
But now you have locker rooms and showers, which a lot of centers don't.
Right.
Which is a big deal for a lot of people. You need that.
You get changed on the way to work. Like I just left. There's a lot of guys getting changed to work. But you know, when you look at this, all the models that are out there, I mean, we see them all the way from the mega clubs like we're going to see opening in Port Orange with LA Fitness, all the way down to the little boutique clubs like, you know, part of our one-on-one program is in that the Pilates centers and stuff like that exist. So we have to differentiate ourselves. So the first triangle really doesn't differentiate, because you're going to hear about that synergy triangle wherever you go. Their formula underneath the way they eat, or the aerobic work that they do, or the way they take the strength train, may certainly differ from what Bodez talks about. Okay. But then we move into the second triangle, which is called the big triangle, the balance of of the brain, the immune system, and the gut. The gut is where most of our probiotics are. It's what supports the immune system. And if those get out of balance, then it doesn't matter how good you're doing in the synergy triangle. That balance it's like a 6-lane highway at this point. And if each one of the lanes of the highway is the point on that triangle, and if any one of those points are out of balance, if you have a bad gut, if you have an overactive immune system, if your brain is going through brain fog, the rest of the system, it jams it up. The third triangle that we'll talk is what simplistically we call the magic triangle at this, but it deals with what the body, mind, and spirit do in relation to each other. Now, these are topics when you get to talking into the depth of them. You're not going to hear talked about at fitness centers because they don't go into the science, because it's not their desire to be part of the medical community as it is ours. And that's the Bodez difference. And we'll be, you know, hopefully having people participate. One of the great ways they can participate right now is the $5 enrollment. $5 enrollment, pay your $20 card fee. Your first month's dues is September 10th, and for 3 months you'll have $39.50 as your monthly dues instead of our normal dues, which are $59.50. So you save $195 on the enrollment, and you save $20 a month. If you say you want to change, then your dues, if you want to stay in the membership after that first 3 months, you can go ahead and go and start paying your monthly dues at the regular monthly. So it's a great opportunity to see that Bodez difference. So I'm going to change gears for a moment. We're going to come back to for this topic, but I'm happy to be joined by George Karamidas. Hi, George. Welcome to the Fitness Friday show with me. This is your first time, I think.
It is, Tulsa. Good morning. How are you?
Fine, thank you, George. You're involved in business around here, and you take away from your business to be very active in the Greek community, and you've people don't get to see you at the Greek Festival like to get to see me and my drunken buddies at the Yido booth, but you're back in the kitchen putting all the good food out for people in that afternoon shift.
Yeah, while you guys are hanging those empty victim Ouzo bottles as you work through your day, we are slaving away back there.
And we have our music we bring. We have our music we bring to it as well.
Is it Ouzo or Metexsa?
Metexsa.
Metexsa.
We've got a few years between us, although you'd rather be termed, being the same age as me, but you're a mentor, and I look up to you, and your involvement in through the years at the church, of course, is something that a lot of us look up to, and you give of yourself and, of course, time, a lot of time. So the rest of us are just trying to, put forth a little effort to try to keep things going and moving along.
Well, I asked you to join me today on the show because we have an event coming up at the church that a lot of people, as the community ages, they can't get out to the Greek festival. They love it, but they like to come and they like to enjoy the entertainment and they like to see things. And what happens to them is they get caught up in the quagmire of the parking, and there's just so many crowds now because it's such a successful event. So and a lot of people don't realize that the Greek festival was started back by Father George Papadeas years ago, 38 years ago, 39 years ago, as a celebration of our feast day, which actually occurs in October. And now the feast day, the event of the Greek festival is so successful that the feast day sort of gets interrupted and we can't really maximize the celebration of it. So
we came to a decision a couple of years ago that with all the preparation that was going on internally to prepare for the festival, the dinner dance, which was typically the St. Demetrius annual dinner dance, which was usually right around our October 26th feast day, was so close to the festival. It was a challenge to plan for both events. So we moved the date up into late September to help accommodate that a little easier. And this year's dance is on September 27th, which is a Saturday at 6 p.m. It's at the church hall that most people are familiar with, just north of Main Street there on the Halifax River. Excuse me. And this year's event, like last and the few years before, the event has grown tremendously in the last couple of years, and it's become very successful. It sells out ahead of time, and it's not just the people of the church that attend. It's a lot of our friends and neighbors and folks we do business with that we invite and who come and enjoy the event and really have a great time. So it's become a great event. It sells out ahead of time. So we encourage people to buy tickets, for the event. But it's a really nice event with a great dinner. This year, Kevin Moore, Fine Foods, is preparing the dinner for the event, and there are a lot of things going on that evening. There's going to be a couple Pandora's boxes where you'll buy keys for these boxes that are available that are like a treasure chest full, and the key will open. If you have that lucky key, it'll open one of those Pandora's boxes, and you get to go home with that. There'll be a live auction. That will be an event for somebody to be able to bid on the opportunity to have a dinner event for 20 people that Kevin Moore Fine Foods, as well as Signature Events International and Pink Flamingo Florists, will basically come to your venue and give you a beautiful dinner for 20 people, whether it's a special event that somebody's got going on that's coming up. So it's a $3,000 value that you'll be able to bid on there at the night of the dinner.
So, and for people, just to first of all, we're going to bring Renee into the conversation, because Renee is Signature Events, and she's done a lot of the great decorating in that for events and putting themes together. And the dates, so everybody knows, is September 27th at 6 p.m. and adult tickets are $50 if you purchase them before September 14th. and you can buy tables if you'd like, so you'd come out. And again, it gives people the opportunity to come and really be part of it, because we have our dance troops there. You'll see the people who are usually working, they get to actually get out and dance in the event. And then we've added these other little things in, like silent auctions and things like that. Renee, welcome to the show. You're no stranger to Fitness Friday. You've been on here with us before, but you have a different role now. You're in the role of making sure that when people come in, they get a different eye scenery and atmosphere effect to this dinner dance. Tell us a little bit about it.
Well, it's going to change quite a bit. Years ago, we used to have themes. First of all, good morning, George. Good morning, Tasso. Good morning, Dave. We used to have themes, and this year we went back to having themes. And like George said, for the last 2 years, they've been sold out. They sell out before they go in the door. But this year we added seating outside. So there will be outside seating, which will be limited on the upper deck so that they can be a part of what is going on inside. And I understand a lot of people like to sit outside and look at the river and enjoy that beautiful view that we have at St. Demetrius. We are going to have Pandora's Box, and for most of you that do know me, you know that I've been involved in fundraising all my life, and I put on quite a few events, like putting on the Ritz and chocolate extravaganzas. I did a lot of things for a lot of nonprofit organizations.
You did the Vince Carter charity. What's that? Foundation of Hope or something like that? Because I still have my Derek Jeter jersey from that.
Yeah, that was years ago. So I'm no stranger to putting on events in Volusia County, that's for sure. As far as Signature Events International goes, we've decided to work domestically. So, the little weddings and things that we do domestically. This year, Signature Events and More Fine Foods have teamed up, and we've been doing quite a bit. And Kevin and I both got together, and we decided that one thing we wanted to do was to thank the Greek community, because most of our weddings and our events are held at the Greek church, so at the hall. So we teamed up, and we offered our services. And on top of offering our services to decorate and to cook, we're also going to be auctioning off. We have a live auction. And we're going to be auctioning off a dinner for 20, valued at $3,000. And it will be, again, a combine of myself and Kevin. And we will go to somebody's house, and we will decorate the buffet table and the tables and put on the food. And that's going to be one of actually the only live auction that we're going to be having. The rest is going to be Pandora's Box, and we have beautiful things from Lennox to jewelry from Malta Bella up in Ormond Beach, and I'm sure we're going to get something from Bodez. I don't know if they've gotten that far yet, but they are working on getting some really neat things that are going to be anywhere from $250 above. So. And I think they're having 3 Pandora boxes, not just one, but 3. So you have there's some good odds there. Tickets sell at $10 a ticket, or 3 for $20. I don't know if George covered that and how much he covered.
He did a little bit of that, and it's good to reiterate it. But I want to come back to this is a great opportunity, George, for people to come to our community. And what's really been neat that has been started is there are now people who will buy tickets so that can be given in the community to people who haven't had a night out. Last year I had about 6 people that came with me from my staff, and they had a great time. They'd never experienced it. And then what it did is it heightened their awareness of the Greek festival, because they saw so many parts of the Greek festival there. Like, George, you're at that age now where you have that pride of having your kids dance. Renee's already had her kids dance in this. I still have one that dances out of my 3, but now you've got your Nico who dances, and you've got your nephew Costa, who is always a feature dancer for the shows they put on. So bring our culture into that. And the thing I want to reiterate, the More Fine Foods involved in this, but one of the reasons we had to move this forward because so many of our people in our community are in there at the time when this dance is going on, and they've been doing preparatory work for the Greek festival already. So this is this is going to be a great reminder. There will be Greek appetizers. Now, the main course is going to be a beautiful dinner. It's not going to be a Greek dinner because that's not what More Fine Foods does. But, you know, they're going to have the chicken Tuscany that he makes. I've had before. He has Marcella mushrooms. He has a petite filet mignon. So there's going to be great food to choose from there, which I know you're coordinating that part of it. George, I know you've got to get back to work at Maui Nix and that, but tell us a little bit about, from your perspective as the president of the community, how you'd like to see people come out and support the event.
Well, Tasso, you touched on it. It's a great opportunity for any of those who would like to say thank you to some folks that we interact with on a daily basis, or, you know, the unappreciated folks amongst us, to purchase a ticket for them. So a lot of us, you know, will bring friends and and family members with us. Last year, I was really pleasantly surprised as I looked around the room. There were so many people who I'd never met before, and obviously there weren't our typical, you know, St. Demetrius Church members. There were people from amongst us, or in our community, who had come to attend the event. Many of them, you know, had tickets purchased for them, like you did for your folks. And it gave them a great opportunity to come and participate in what is almost like a little mini festival that night, because, as you said, we'll have great entertainment by the different dance groups of different ages,
and there will be a live band
great
there.
band as well. We had a really great band called Elada, which is Greek for Greece, and the band was very entertaining and went through the night, you know, keeping us all moving and dancing for throughout the night. So it's a really great event. It's almost like a mini one-night Greek festival. And as you said, so many of us are busy during the festival that we're stuck in our booths, pleasantly helping. But this is an opportunity for all of us to kind of put our let our hair down, have a good time, and enjoy the event.
Those of us that have hair.
Yeah, that's true. You and I are not too far apart in that department. Renee can let her hair down.
We're also going to be having, every hour on the hour, we're going to be having door prizes. And when you get your ticket, you sign your name on the back of your ticket, and that'll go into the drawing. So that night, every hour, like I said, the band will draw a name, and they will tell you what you win. Again, our gifts are in the area of $250 and above. So it's really going to be a really, really nice time. In fact, this is the first time I have to tell you that I'm stoked. And it's not because I'm involved in it, but it's because that it's taken such a different turn, and there's so many things going on, and it's going to be such a fun night. In fact, I got 3 tables myself. So I'm really looking forward to the event, and I hope that everybody in the community, that would like to have a little more relaxed in the festival, but a lot of fun, a lot more fun. It's a dress-up event. I hope that they do buy their tickets, call the church office, buy those tickets, and join us, because I would like to meet, a lot of new people.
And we probably should give that phone number out, that it's 252-6012. 252-6012. Ask for Phyllis. Will be handling the ticket sales with her team over there. And George, the preparations, as I said, around Labor Day, the preparations will start for Greek Festival, and you've got a great team in place with Dimo Janakis and Irene Katuzis and all the people that they pull in to support and put together to put that event on. And that event keeps growing. We always pray for good weather for that, but weather doesn't affect this event as much. And I love that this has become such a successful event for us, and it allows us to reach out in the community. I know a lot of the friends that I brought last year, they now come to church services with us on a sporadic basis, because they had a nice time and they met people. And we've had other events like this, and I think before we leave talking about this event, I want people to understand that it's not a selfish endeavor. We have other things that go on, ministries that go on that this supports. And I think, I'm thinking back to the Easter event that we had, that you actually got to meet some people that lived in your neighborhood. But we have these nice events at Christmas time, at Easter, at Thanksgiving, where we put on, for people who are less fortunate, they can come to the church and have a really nice dinner. We make the turkey on Thanksgiving. We have the ham at Christmas, and I forget what we had at Easter this year. But that allows people, and that's something that Father Joseph has really tried to get going. I know, Renee, you're behind us because you love this type of thing, the charitable things. But we reach out in our community, and we thank our community for supporting our Greek Festival. And we have these little ministries that go on. We support a food bank now, so with donations that, it's awesome, the outbursts that have come from this in our communities. And we like doing this for that reason.
Yeah,
And
Tom,
we've
I'm sorry,
always
Renee.
done that,
I'm glad
Tasso.
you touched on that because that's important. That we do have opportunities to help folks less fortunate than ourselves, and we do that on throughout the year by donating to the food bank here locally, but then also with those events that you talked about on Easter and Christmas and Thanksgiving. Yeah. The proceeds from this event, of course, help with all those causes.
And I know that Renee is going to remind us about the great rewards that have been reaped as a result of the Philoptos and other. But Renee, tell us a little bit, because you know more about this because you've been involved in this. George and I have been involved in the fundraising end, but you really have been involved in the philanthropic end through Philoptos and other groups that we have at the church over the years.
Well, the philanthropic part is very important to me because it's bearing the impoverished, it's feeding people. The problem with us is that we do it quietly. I mean, you'll never know how much we do out in the community because we just don't advertise what we do out in the community. But since the inception of St. Demetrius, we have given to our community, and a lot of us take part in our community in different organizations, and we give that way as well. I know all of them right now who are involved in the ALS challenge, because everybody's getting wet. So, and I'll tell you, and I keep saying, I don't know why I didn't think of that. I don't know why I didn't think of that. But what a great,
I think we're all laughing, Renee, over your son Billy and his wife's ALS challenge last night. I think he's gotten more comments about how they executed their challenge and the comments afterwards. So that was great. That was entertainment for all of us.
I got to tell you, when Chase Elliott did, I sent Chase a thing, and I said to Chase, I said, first of all, you're supposed to do this with your father. Second of all, I didn't see very much ice in that bucket. And Billy's, he put the ice in there, and you could just see him. You could see him and Debbie just shaking away at the end of it.
Well, Sammy's was the first. I laughed with Sammy's because the first one I saw he did was put ice in it. Well, by the time he talked, the ice got to start to melt a little bit, but when he did it, he caught his breath and he looked at me and he's going, "That's enough. That's enough." He said, "I can't catch my breath." Cut the camera. So I said, "Well, you're all nuts anyway." But you know what? Look at the money they raised. Look at the awareness that they raised for
$11 million.
ALS.
Yeah, $11 million to this point have increased. And I'm very close to this because my brother, but Augie Nieto is another very good friend, and Augie started Augie's Quest when he got the ALS, and he's raised in the 8 years since he diagnosed, he's raised over $35 million, and a lot of research has been done. Now this money is going directly to the ALS Foundation and not through Augie's organization, it's tied into to the multiple sclerosis group. But it's just remarkable that when awareness by something simple like this is brought, and we go forward, we do it. I mean, it'd be great for us to think of something that we do because this community needs this kind of help, and I appreciate. I'm very proud to be part of our St. Demetrius community. As I know both of you are. We're very proud of who we are, what we are, and what our heritage is, and we have the opportunity to reach out through these events. So once again, the event is September 27th. It starts at 6 p.m. The phone number is 252-6012. Tickets are $50 for you if you purchase them before the 14th of September. There's going to be Greek dancing. Our kids will be entertaining you. We'll have a live band. There'll be all these things going on. So it won't be a boring night. It'll certainly be an exciting night where, I think it was Dale Carnegie said, don't live a boring life in such a world that has so much around you to entertain you and make you enjoy it and love it. And the Greeks are the first at doing that. So I think when we know how to entertain. I don't know if we know how to keep a schedule, but boy, we know how to entertain.
Yeah. I think we do okay. Yeah. But I hope God continues to bless us so that we can continue blessing our community. So. Thank you for this opportunity, Tasso. I'm looking forward to seeing you. Well, I'll see you before the 27th, but I look forward to seeing you on the 27th. George, you as well, and I hope Dave comes.
We'll get Dave there. We gotta get Dave to do his ALS challenge, though. He's trying to beg out because he doesn't think he falls under the category of all those people I've ever worked out before.
No, I'm afraid I'll melt like the Wicked Witch of the West.
Well, listen, I look forward to having you guys on again before the event to keep people reminded of it. And again, George, thank you for taking busy time out of your schedule, your great stores, the Maui Knicks, and my daughter's proud to be an employee there, and
she's a great employee. Yeah, thanks.
And I love my flip flops I got there.
Thank you for having us on. Thanks to your listeners for hearing us for this last few minutes, and we look forward to the event. And everybody have a great weekend, and thank you.
All right, thanks Renee, thanks George. God bless. So, all right, so I want to come back to talking, and we're going to take a little break here, and we're going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit more about these three triangles that I think begin to differentiate and understanding a balance, a sensitive balance. And you know, interesting enough, the things I've learned from the world of functional medicine over the last 4 years, and how this, the for lack of a word, the antiquated philosophy of novelist training principles really falls very well into the chemistry of healing the body. So we'll be back. We're gonna break for a moment. I want to remind you that Bodez by Tasso & Company has a great summer special ending up. It's $5 starts your membership. If you come today and join up, you will receive our Body Coach membership, which gives you our Bodez Express membership, gives you our Fitness on Demand program, so you can do the exercise you class when you want it, at the time you want it, and what class you want. Gives you our Appointment with Fitness program that keeps you motivated by giving you a phone call if you don't show up for your workout in the time slot that you said you'd be coming in. It gives you our Smart Start program, which has the kids helping you with the first 3 times you have someone right there. And there is the one thing I want to iterate that doesn't get through in our Body Coach program, which comes with this, there's always someone on the floor to help supervise your program. I'm not telling you they're a personal trainer for you. They're setting your machine. They're setting your seat height. They're helping you if you have trouble with the form. They're right there to help you. And that's in our Body Coach program, which is included in this. And then you also get our Body by Science Fit Key program on our SciFit system. So all this, which is normally a $59 a month value, $59.50, is $39.50 a month for 3 months. You're going to make a 3-month commitment to, number 1, discover the body's difference. Number 2, get your program started and see if you truly can stick with it without a big fear of failure in front of you. Take advantage of all the support that we can give you and have a great program. $5 starts at $20 card fee today. Then September 10th, October 10th, and November 10th, you'll pay your $39.50. It's a great savings. It's $20 a month plus the savings, $195 on the enrollment fee. 672-6464. Call and make your appointment. We look forward to seeing you at Bodez Personalized Fitness, and we'll be back on Fitness Friday in about 3 minutes.
Builders, remodelers, landscapers, gardens, kitchens, baths. There's so much to see, so much that's new at the Volusia County Fall Home and Garden Show. Save time with the area's finest builders and remodelers, interior design and home decor, all in one place. Save money with show-only sale prices. And meet Wade King and Brett Raymer from Animal Planet's Tanked. This weekend only at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. Discount coupons at the Home Depot and online at VolusiaCountyHomeandGardenShow.com.
Sponsored by Hometown News and 1150 WNDB.
Ormond Magazine.
The best read, most loved magazine in Ormond Beach.
From the local art on the cover
to the 3-county calendar of events.
Ormond Magazine has all the events and culture the local area has to offer.
To subscribe for home delivery.
To sign up for their weekly events e-newsletter.
Or to enter our weekly giveaway contest.
Go to www.gagepub.com.
That's GAGEPUB.com.
Or call 386-299-9568 today.
This is Wes Dunn of Dunn's Attic inviting you to tune in each Monday morning at 9:30 for the Business Buzz, sponsored by Ormond Beach Chamber, Homewood Suites, and Lulu's Restaurant. We'll inform, educate, and entertain, interviewing industry experts and business owners. So tune in to Business Buzz, brought to you in part by Dunn's Attic in Ormond Beach, each Monday at 9:30.
Attention, Silver Sneakers participants. Bodez Personalized Fitness in Ormond Beach is proud to be an approved fitness program provider for the Silver Sneakers program. Our Bodez Express membership is now approved for Silver Sneakers membership at no cost to you. Call 672-6464. That's 672-6464 to set an appointment for your orientation today. Also included is our new Fitness on Demand exercise class program. Please call for an appointment so we can answer your questions and introduce you to our facilities. Call 672-6464 to start your program and begin to experience the Bodez Personalized Fitness difference. Bodez Personalized Fitness is also an approved fitness provider for selected Florida healthcare plans. We look forward to improving the health and fitness of our Florida healthcare and Silver Sneakers participants and take advantage of the great program and your free membership. Call 672-6464.
Call 239-0033 for Fitness Friday and your host, Tasso Kyriakis. Here's Tasso.
All right, Dave, I started to talk about when we left from just before You know, I probably need to take a show that I just take the 3 triangles and talk about it, because I have a lot of things I want to try and get to today. We're really pushing on the quarterback club, so Terry's here to join us, and hopefully my nephew will be able to call in. I don't know where he's at. You know, you never know where John's at in the world, you know, kind of thing. Really? But, you know, this whole thing of I looked at just the trends that we have going on in society right now from the standpoint of everybody doing their thing, from the standpoint of different exercise techniques come in, because there's such an awareness to exercise. And I get frustrated because I see things that are out there that I think people do just for ego. They do these things like CrossFit because it is a challenge, and it's but when you look at the upper echelon of the people that are doing things like CrossFit and that, you see all the injuries that have occurred there, and there's this, to me, that really concerns me, that we should be able to take people and put them into safe, productive programs that move them in the right direction. And that doesn't mean that intensity is not important. And listen, intensity can come in several shapes, and through training and by knowledge training principles, which are, you know, sort of an antiquitous type of principle at this point, because that's been around since the 70s, and you know it's no different than what's been around, but from the 50s with people doing set training. But the thing about the training principles, when you train properly with knowledge training and you push in that intensity level for that momentary failure, you begin to create and take advantage of the science of the body that begins to help the body. And we talk so much about cellular healing. So I want to introduce you just briefly, conceptually, to a new triangle we call the magic triangle. It is a triangle that we refer to with the 3 corners being the body, the mind, and the spirit. And we all know about the mind, how much positive motivation means to you. And if your mind is right and is committed, and you bring that with your spirit to be that you have a good feeling about yourself, and that now all of it falls. So you've all seen those motivational phrases that say, what the mind conceives, the body achieves. But the body can't achieve anything if you don't look at it from a very, very important manner. The cellular integrity of the body, the cellular strength of the body. So we look at the cellular part of the body, and we look at the body in the cell, and I divide the cell up. I look at the body as what we call C13 or CI3, the 3 I's of the cell. Number 1 is cellular intelligence. If a cell is a liver cell or a heart cell or a lung cell, it has to have the intelligence and the health to be able to act like those cells and to do their jobs that they have to do. There is a cellular intelligence. The second one is there is a cellular integrity. When the body gets in inflammation, remember, going back to the very first of the show, I said one of the things we keep saying is inflammation is the cause of all disease. How does that happen? Well, our image of how a cell is, most of us, if we think about how we visualize a cell, is this flat thing, and in the middle you got the nucleus in there, and you got the endoreticulum.
That's how we saw it in our textbooks.
That's right, in your textbooks. And we drew it very nice, and we color-coded it all and stuff. Yeah. But the reality is that a cell in space looks like a small tennis ball. And that tennis ball, okay, has on it outside the fuzz. Well, the fuzz on the outside of a cell is the receptor sites that respond to hormones like insulin and estrogen and testosterone and stuff. And when the body becomes inflamed and the cell becomes inflamed, guess what suffers? These receptor sites suffer. And now that inflammation, it affects the ability of the cell for the intercellular communication. The cell can't communicate, the receptor sites can't communicate with the nucleus. One cell can't communicate with another cell, so it functions. So now this is how we begin to see the cell begin to mutate, which is cancer, or to die. So cellular intercommunication is very, very important. The third one is the integrity of the cell, that it's strong enough to carry on these things. So we have the cellular intelligence, we have cellular interaction, and we have cellular integrity. And that makes up the body's point of that triangle. And again, I want you to imagine that all these points of these triangles I talked are a freeway. And if one of those lanes have a crash on it, or 2 of those lanes have a crash on it, all other lanes are affected by it, either by the rubberneckers coming by looking at it, or the people that are in the same lane. If you have a crash on 95, you may sit for 2 hours clogged up, okay? And the people coming from the other side, they're going to be slow because they want to see what's going on, why there's so many people in line. Well, the body's the same way. If one of these things, there is a gentle balance. And the balance at its most simplest triangle, its most simplest philosophy, is to eat right, strength train, and get good cardiovascular. Now, with the science of the cardiovascular fitness of burst training ties us into the fight or flight system, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic system, which allows us to heal the body all the way down to that cellular level. So we're not going to be able to get into that today. It's a little more complicated, and really, quite frankly,
you need to do a YouTube video. You know, where you stand up and you have a whiteboard behind you.
That might be cool to do.
Put on a white jacket like a professor. Or,
a mad professor, most people would think. So with that, and again, once again, I'm going to make a big change in the direction. We talked about the St. Demetrius Annual Community Dance that's going to be September 27th. I've talked a little bit about these three triangles of true health that show you a differentiation of the body thing. Now let's talk to about one of my favorite clubs to be in. The quarterback club. It's getting down to,
I thought you were in the Millionaires Club.
No, unfortunately, I'm not in that Millionaires Club. I'd like to be. If anybody wants to donate to put me into that, I'm good to go.
The Tasso Challenge.
But if you take advantage of the $5, enough people take advantage of the $5 enrollment at Bodez, hey, maybe I could be there. So Terry, we have a labor of love coming up, and we're getting close, and I'm glad to see the activity. This week I bet you I saw online maybe 30 new enrollments just that I saw that came in, and I have on my desk, I probably have about 11 or 12 enrollments from friends and members. And going back to that whole theme I started the show with, man, Bodez members are great members. About 15 minutes from now, there's about 12 of them. They're going to do the ice bucket challenge at Bodez simultaneously because they're motivated by what the staff did. But, Terry, we get to do the quarterback club every Monday night. You and I are on the team. I'm on the team this year because my nephew's the captain. And we have such a great lineup for the quarterback.
We do. Well, you talk about getting your body in shape. I almost think that if you think about the speakers that we bring to the table for the quarterback club, it gives you a mental attitude pump. I mean, you come out of those meetings with some speakers. I mean, to kick it off with Lou Holtz, what a great, just motivational speaker. What a great sports guy. What a great football guy. And we get to, when you walk out, the mental attitude you get, the mental pump you get from that is just as good as a workout. And, you got to have a great attitude.
Well, we just talked about the triangles, and I'm talking about the triangles of the body, mind, and the spirit. And that mind and spirit are so closely connected to get us motivated and keep us our energies up. I mean, you can be in great shape, but I mean, listen, you might have a horrible attitude. From that standpoint, look at all the professional athletes that have horrible attitudes, but they're great athletes and they have great bodies on them, So, but we start out with Lou Holtz. Listen to this lineup of speakers we have at Quarterback Club. Now, ladies, your husband may be a football fan, and listen, women are welcome to join. Although I think we've only had one or two over the 67 years join because it's it's male predominated and stuff, and it's really football motivated and just like the guy that was on with Al Smith this morning that did fantasy football.
Right.
More women are getting involved in it, so I could see where more women would be interested in quarterback club because of the people we have coming this year, and that we've had in the past. They'll get some insights and stuff. But I've been surprised by the number of women who come to me and say, "Hey, listen, can I buy my husband a membership because you know what, he doesn't do anything for himself." And kind of, it's $385 for the year. It's 10 meetings that we go through that are dinner meetings. And here's what we got. Start out with Lou Holtz on September 8th.
That's cool.
Legendary coach, gets probably $40,000 to $50,000. I said $30,000. Someone told me no. We had an insurance cost. We paid $45,000 for him to speak to us. Motivational speaker. Going to do a lot of the same stuff. Going to talk football. Going to talk about his passions. Then we have Tony Barnhart, who just signed a big contract with ABC. This is, in fact, going to be the last quarterback club meeting he does because he'll be deep into the season. He's doing the SEC network and that. He was previously with CBS. A guy to get a contract like that, he knows football. Right. He knows people that he's going to tell you great stories. Then we have George O'Leary, who has absolutely turned around the UCF program, made it
what a story. When you think about UCF and what they've done there and the perspective of that. Now, the thing about it is that we got to watch that because he is a coach. He can't really have any contact with these high school football players.
Well, and that's one of the things that we do at the quarterback club that people should understand. Number one is probably the biggest thing we do is the scholarship committee has the website that coaches and football teams from around the country can go to, and they can go to it and they can look and they can see what a kid's academics are, what his physical biometrics are, and get coaches' notes and stuff like that. So we have kids being recruited from this area that are going to places like Kansas Wesleyan. Like Billy Gahagan, we just had Billy Gahagan's mom on. Billy Gahagan went to Kansas Wesleyan as a result of the quarterback clubs. First, when it still was a paper thing that we actually sent out to the colleges. And there's been a lot of other kids that have gone that. We had a steady stream of kids going to Lindenwood University in St. Louis out of this area because the coach there, Coach Ross, knows about this and utilizes this to recruit kids. So we have that going on, and then every week you're involved with Pete Wakeman, Dr. Pete, and putting together a great presentation for the high school athletes. And tell them how they go through that process of selecting it.
Actually, I don't know. I've been kept out of that process.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've never actually been I find out almost the same time everybody else does. Maybe, when I might know who the winner is because I see them when they come in and I know who they are.
Right.
But I don't get to make, they've never involved me in that selection.
Oh, you don't get to make any
I don't get any,
nominations.
I don't get to, and I think too, as a sideline reporter, I almost want to keep it that way. I don't want to make those decisions. I almost like being just a reporter at times.
Right.
Yeah.
So after Coach O'Leary, we have Dante Culpepper.
That's going to be cool.
Who played in the NFL, who was out of Ocala Forest or Vanguard, I can't remember which one. Played at UCF, went on to play a great career with the Minnesota Vikings, and actually played into the UFL for years. And then we have Tommy Bowden, Bobby Bowden. Actually, when I created the speaker thing, I almost put him with his dad when his dad beat the hell out of him that one year. The year after that Clemson had beaten Florida State, they just smashed him, and it was like, I forget, it was like taking the woodshed by your dad or something like that. And then we have Jerry Ponch, who a lot of people don't know.
Dr. Jerry Ponch
covers not only NASCAR but covers Alabama football. And then I think maybe the two guys that'll be the surprise guys of how funny and how entertaining their presentation will be. And the first one is Keith Brookins, who is just a fire plug guy. If you know him, he's a good friend of John's, and he played enthusiastically all those years. He's just out of the league. I think he's only a year or two removed from the league, so you'll have great stories from him. And then you got Jesse Palmer, who has years in the league, was a standout at Florida, but it's probably, fortunately or unfortunately, is known more for his characterization on The Bachelor than any other. When I looked at his pictures, I found like 5 pictures of him playing football. I found a couple pictures of him in ESPN studios, but there are like 300 pictures of him with all the girls on The Bachelor thing.
It's a tough job, but somebody has to do it, right?
And then you talk about 2 people to end the season with. We end with Kellen Winslow on November 10th, who is a Hall of Fame tight end, who is actually the athletic director at Florida A&M University.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Cookman's arch rival now.
Yeah.
And then we end, and we may have the return of Turkey Night if we get enough new members. But Lee Corso, not so fast, my friend.
Yeah, there you go.
So it'll be great to see Lee here. He's funny. He's always entertaining. He speaks right off the cuff. He tells you great stories about what's going on and the things. And he, I guess he's probably getting near the end of his tenure being on College Game Day.
That's the rumor. This could be close to it.
But he is such a character and such an entertainer from the standpoint of, because he talks that language. He loves talking football, and he'll be one of those guys. There's a couple of them that won't be there, but we know almost all these guys are going to be sitting with us and watching the first half of the Monday Night Football games. I'm pretty sure that Lee Corso is one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of thing.
He'll hang around.
Yeah.
He'll hang around.
So
hey, I got to make a comment out. It's so neat, the speakers, but you walk away from these meetings with, like you say, the right mental attitude. To this day, one of the best speakers I ever saw was Archie Griffin. It had an impact on me to this day, and the game that he broke the record for the most yardage. Did you ever hear this? Do you remember the story behind that game? The first game he ever played, he fumbled the ball.
Oh.
So you don't get to, that's the end of your career. You're not going to play anymore. So the second game, he's sitting on the bench figuring, well, I blew it. First game, they're never going to let me play. He hears Coach go, Griffin. He says, is there another Griffin on the team? And starts looking around, and Coach hollers 2 or 3 more times, and he goes in. He didn't even know he was going to play. He didn't think he was going to play. That game, he broke the record, set the record for the most yardage ever that still stands today.
Wow.
He didn't know he was going to play.
Someone must have got hurt of him in front of him though for him to get back in there.
Don't know how you get in, but you got to be mentally prepared and do the best you can. You don't play with Woody Hayes when it comes to fumbling the ball.
That's right. You don't make mistakes, or you didn't make mistakes with Woody Hayes. And I think the one thing we probably underestimated at this point is when you go to these, you develop networks and relationships with people because you go to Rotary clubs and Lion clubs and Kiwanis and all these things. You develop these business relationships, but I think you develop great friendship with other businessmen in the community that are their quality businessmen. I mean, if you're anybody, I'm looking at some of the people that are in the quarterback club coming back as a result of the speakers list and just the emphasis we've put on membership this year. And I'm sitting there going, wow, he owns that business. It is wonderful to be able to sit there and be able to sit next to, I don't want to name drop, but a Gail Lemeron and see and meet him and talk football. Don't talk business with him because you're going to get kicked out of there. But, and I think the funniest story that Gail Lemeron's ever told me was he was getting to travel to the Final Four or something like that on the basketball plane with them. And people who don't know that went to University of Florida, Old North B is now named Gail Lemeron Boulevard because he donated money. So he's sitting next to an athlete, and the kid introduces himself very nicely to Gail, and in front of Gail is sitting Coach Billy Donovan. And so he's sitting there, and the kid says, "Hi, my name is Damien," whatever his name is, and Gail says, "Well, my name is Gail Lemeron. Nice to meet you." And so the kid looks away, and he's thinking for a minute, and he turns back to Gail and he says, "Mr. Gale," he says, "do you know your mama named you after a street on the University of Florida campus?" and Billy Donovan turned around. Those are the kind of stories you get to hear from the people that are sitting at your table.
Right.
So it's so entertaining. It's so great to do. So if you're looking for something to do on Monday nights for the next 11 weeks starting on September 8th, we'd strongly encourage you to join the Quarterback Club. It's a $385 investment that you make. You get dinner. We're going to meet at the Plaza Motel. We've got great parking there, great facility, great food. We'll be heading a lot down to Oyster Pub afterwards to watch games, as well as the little bars that they have in there. But there'll be a lot of fun going on from that standpoint. And we promise we got a great team together for fun. We got a great group of speakers. So I hope I see you. I hope I see you in a lot of places. I hope I see you taking the ALS Ice Challenge and post it to the Body's Facebook. I'm personally challenging you to do it and have fun with it and get your friends involved. I'm inviting you to the September 27th dinner dance at the St. Demetrius Greek Orthodox Church. $50 a ticket, 252-6012. I'm inviting you to join Quarterback Club with us. And then I'm also inviting you, most of all, to take advantage of the $5 offer to join Body's Personalized Fitness, $39.50 a month for 3 months. It's a 3-month trial membership to let you see what we can do for you and then discover the Body's difference. 672-6464, 672-6464. Have a great week. Catch the Bristol race tonight. I'm hoping for my boy Chase Elliott to pull a nice place out and keep that points lead. God bless you all. Have a great weekend. 672-6464, Bodies by Tasso & Company.
FM 93.5 and AM 1150 WNDB Daytona Beach, Daytona's morning news station. Locally owned and operated by Southern Stone Communications.